Yeah.
Can't think of anybody. Okay. All right.
Epiphany time. Ken Epiphany.
I had a Ken Epiphany over the weekend. And matter of fact, for people on TV, let me take my shades off for a second, man, because you guys got to understand how serious this is. I don't want to taint it with shades. You need to look into my eyes. Although the hat and the shadow from the light, you still can't see my eyes, but they're here. I'm watching the Pacers go to the NBA Finals. I'm watching the Knicks playing a Game 6 with an opportunity to push it to 7 to get to the NBA Finals. I'm seeing the OKC Thunder roll through the playoffs, get to an NBA Finals. And I'm like, man, how are the Kings going to get there? And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, like these Ken Epiphanies normally do. And I said, all right, I'm pretty optimistic with what this team might be able to do, what direction they might be able to go with a tweak here or there. But I'm looking at the roster, I'm looking at the players, and I said, wait a minute. Hold on, man. Who's the best player on this team? Currently, right now. Some, not many, but some might say Zach LaVine. Most talented player, has the most potential, all this other stuff. But the majority of people, if you ask them right now, who's the best player on the Kings, they would say Domantas Sabonis. And I sat and I thought about it, and I said, so wait a minute. This guy is the best player on your team? This is the number one option. This is the guy that is supposed to lead you. He's the best player. And he's making how much money? Shout out Kyle Madsen. Big ups to him. He's making how much money? Oh, no. What? We need to move on from him. Now. Let me settle everyone down just a little bit. I'm not saying that in a way that says things are Domantas Sabonis' fault or that he's a bad player. I think Domas is, if not 100% what we've said he is over the last 2-3 seasons, when we talked about, hey, this guy's a top 15 player, or he's one of the best centers in the league, all this other stuff. I don't go back on any of that. I think he's that good, everything that we've said for that long. But I do not believe he can be your number one player. I'm not even sure he can be your second best player. We've seen him in a situation where he was your second best player. The ceiling for that was 48 wins. So in a perfect situation, in an ideal world, he's probably your third best player. And he's still really good. Like, this isn't to say Domas is a bum and you need to get him out of here. This is to say, if he's your best player, just thinking about it realistically, like, how far are you really going to go? This is a guy that you can't even, he's your best player. You can't even give him the ball late in games.
I'm firmly of the belief, I don't know if it's popular or whatever, but your best two players need to be able to get buckets. Like, that's just what the game is. That's great. We can pass the ball and get rebounds, but ideally, when it's playoff time and all that, and everything's shrinking down, and your role player's not hitting his shots or whatever, or it's just crunch time, your best two players have to do it for you.
I agree.
Like, 100%. That's just the way the league is. And like you said, Domas can be the third best player and all that, but I don't buy him as the top two either.
I agree 100%. And once again, I want to reiterate, this isn't, I got a problem with Domas, or I don't think he's good enough, or nothing like that. Like, I think he's an all NBA player. Like, I think he's
nothing to do with the way he plays.
Really good. I think maybe he'd be miscast if you were looking at him to lead your franchise as the best player. Like, that's not who he is. Here's the other caveat to talking about trading Domantas Sabonis. I'm of the belief his trade value is closer to Zach LaVine's than people want to admit. People talk about Zach LaVine is untradeable. You can't move him, his contract, all this other stuff. I think Domas is living on that block at the very least.
I disagree with you on that.
So you're not alone. If the trade value is what I think it is, I think you got to deal with it. Try to put the best team around him and Zach LaVine and try to make it work. Try to add a couple things right here or there and see what you can do. If I'm right in that case. If you and other people are correct about Sabonis' value, where there is value for him around the league, Scott Perry has to be on the phone with all of those teams yesterday.
Sabonis has a very valuable skill set in the league. What he does, like he's still a 2013-8 guy. Like that's great. It's just for what the Sacramento Kings need now and going forward the next few years. That just the way things are looking, how you're gonna be able to like that's just not this is not a top 2 guy in the Kings going forward. It's less about it's about Sabonis and the Kings. It's more so it just doesn't work anymore. It's no fit here.
I agree with that.
And I guess to finish my point is just kind of like I think you can take Sabonis' skill set though and add it on the right contender where it's like this will take us over the top. We got our 2 guys here, but we need that kind of that third piece or whatever. I think Domas, I think it's plenty of value. I don't think anyone feels that way about Zach LaVine.
Do you think you obviously answered it, so I shouldn't ask that. But you believe that there are teams that look at Domantas Sabonis, not the player, not the skill set, but the total package of some of the words he has as a player, and then 43, 46, 49 over the next 3 years, and said he's going to take us over the top. That's the difference. If Domas was making 27, 29, and so hell yeah, we got Domas, we got player A, player B, and we add Domas, we're cooking now. We can get to the finals. We can do all this. But because you're looking at that 43, 46, 49, that almost, unless you have a specific situation like maybe OKC or something like that, that almost eliminates saying like, yeah, we got our 1, our 2, and we add Domas. Because with that contract, trading for him, you probably got to give up one of those 1 or 2s. So do you think with that price tag that the market is what you think it is?
I guess we're gonna have a broader conversation about this. Like on the insides, we were talking about Karl Anthony Towns and how the Knicks kind of got frustrated with him. Do you think you can get a Towns back for Domas?
I would hope so. If you can,
where the Knicks kind of were frustrated with his defense and all that, like, do you think you can get that back?
If you can,
so I think Domas could help the Knicks too.
I think he could. I think he might be a little bit better of a fit. I thought Karl Anthony Towns played a lot. I wasn't close to it, but I thought he played a lot better for the Knicks than people gave him credit for. I think Tibbs had an issue, or Tibbs was a little bit of an issue with just getting the most out of that team. But if you think Cat was the issue and you're ready to move on from him, a player like Domas would be what you're looking for. A guy that doesn't necessarily need to score the basketball or need the bat. Well, let me pause on that because that's also an issue. It's starting to feel like Domantas Sabonis, to be effective, needs the basketball.
Well, if you want to go away from the Jalen Brunson ISO that you do for 48 minutes, like, yeah, that's where you work through Domas and you have something else that works.
Maybe
I have another question. Yeah, I have another question too when you're done.
No, go ahead.
Is Domas so hard to trade because they're trying to win now still? If that's the plan? Like, what if it was a rebuild and it's like, we'll take on 3 contracts or whatever that make up Domas and all that, but we want 2 first-round picks. Do you think that's an easier way to move off of Domas?
Maybe so, but it probably is an easier way to move on from Domas.
Because if you're looking for like just trying to win now, then yeah, like we can talk about Towns all day and stuff like that. But I feel like that also makes it difficult to move them if that's the direction you're trying to head to.
That's a good point. That's a good point as well, and that's the direction that I'd probably be leaning towards is trying to use this Domas trade as a jump start to being good, as opposed to a reset to being good. Reset, in my mind, when you use a reset, you're talking, all right, we're just gonna go back about 3 years on the timeline. Jumpstart, we about the same place. We may be able to catapult from here. That's my mindset with what I'd be looking for to trade Domas. And what I'd be looking for, simple, is a young point guard. Is a young point guard. And I've got my eyes squarely set on LaMelo Ball.
He doesn't.
It's a risk. It's a risk.
Matt George was talking about you can do the picks. Like I would do the deal for LaMelo Ball.
So I was listening.
I'd be pretty. I don't know, not nervous. I don't know what the right word would be.
Nervous. Nervous is the right word. I
concerns,
think.
But
I think nervous is the right word. It is not a lock that this is the right guy or he's going to fit the way you need him to lead this franchise or help lead this franchise. But I was listening to the Locked On that Matt did with the guy from Charlotte, and he said you're starting with 3 first rounders. I don't know if that includes like you can make one of them a swap or something like that, but you're starting with that. The other thing that you're doing, because when we talk about trades, I think I do a good job of, because we got the trade machine. I like the trade machine. I know Dame doesn't, but
he hates it.
The trade machine is a good tool, but it's if you're using it sensibly, right? Like if you're using it the right way. And I think I do. I think I look at it and I look at these trades. I'm like, all right, but why? Yeah, it works financially, but why would Charlotte do this? And I don't know why Charlotte would take on Domantas Sabonis at this point of where they're at as a franchise. But
real quick, what was the trade that was centered on that show on Locked On? Was it Sabonis and 4 first, or what was it? I know Matt mentioned the first, but
they didn't necessarily get into
like the specifics.
Yeah, they just said like if you're talking about LaMelo, you're talking about like at least 3 first round picks. That's what you're talking about. And it was almost like I think he said specifically at one point like they had trading LaMelo for 2 picks and Domantas Sabonis. That's a hard sell to the fans. Like that's not gonna get it done. And I understand that. Like I get it. So I did do one of these trades on here for Domantas Sabonis going to Charlotte. And I got it at LaMelo for Domas. I've got it at 2 first round picks. One is an outright unprotected 2027 pick from the Kings. The other one is a pick swap in 29 with Charlotte. I don't think that gets it done after listening. Oh boy. I think you need at least another first rounder, and maybe the pick swap might get it done as a third one. They might want an outright.
I think I'm out on that deal. I'm still giving you an all NBA caliber player, and you're giving me hey, hope he plays more than 42 games this season. Like all the potential in the world, no doubt, but I'm giving you an all NBA caliber player and a couple first round picks. I don't think I'm doing that for LaMelo.
So you wouldn't do the 2 first round picks?
I don't know if I'm giving them Domas unless it's closer to just a straight swap or something. We work around the edges there.
The other thing about
like Domas, like I said, like I still, maybe I'm wrong, but I still believe in Domas' value and what he brings to a team. It's just a matter of like it's not working here.
Well, the other thing about that too is I talk about Domas going to Charlotte. Like I agree. What does Charlotte want to do with Domantas Sabonis?
Well, so that's where we work the 3-team trade or whatever. Yeah,
you get a third team in there and you find Domas a destination that makes a little more sense for him. Maybe you can get another pick involved in the Charlottes if you're trading with Portland or something like that. Maybe Portland is willing to give up a pick that Charlotte comes away with 3 or 4 first rounders in the totality of the deal. LaMelo goes to Sacramento. Domas goes to that third team, and Charlotte gets off the books. And one of the things that I look at for Charlotte is you potentially can get off that LaMelo contract. You've got a top 4 pick in this draft. You can kind of reset your whole salary structure with now having a new rookie point guard. I'm thinking like Jeremiah Fears or something like that. I really like him, big on him. But now you've got a new point guard. You've got a bunch of future picks, some of them being from Sacramento, which is valuable around the league. And maybe you've got another pick somewhere else. So you've got the assets, because everything that we're hearing is they want to slow play this thing. They're not in a rush to start to contend, which is another reason is why are you holding on to LaMelo Ball if you're not interested in?
Yeah, that's a contract that's just starting.
Yeah. By the time you think you're going to be good, he's going to be up for a new contract, or you might have to trade him. So if you can involve a third team and get the Hornets 1 or 2 more picks, maybe that's the way to go. But I'm looking at a point guard first and foremost, because another thing that happened, Jesse, when Domas was out, I'm going to bring internal conversations to the
Oh, we're going to bring up my text messages? Well, finally?
You weren't the only one. We had discussions all around these ESPN 1320 studios about, JV out here getting 17 and 11
for 30 million less.
For $30 million less dollars. Now, I don't think that you make this trade and you'll be like, oh, we got the nasty boy as your starting center. Like, I wouldn't want that. I'd like to find somebody else. But
it just gives you more room to work.
Yeah, the premise of it was you can go get a cheaper center that can give you good production. Once again, I'm not even saying he gives you Domas production, but he can give you good, serviceable production for cheaper, and you have your point guard. And don't forget, you still have a DeMar DeRozan trade chip to use as well.
Yeah, Frank asked right here. He asked you, is it Sabonis gone only and keep DeMar, or be moving off of him as well?
No, I'd be looking to move. I'd be looking to move off DeMar because, number one, I think it fits the team a little better. And I think DeMar is ready to move on. Everything that I've heard since the second the final buzzer sounded at the Golden One Center in that playing game was DeMar's people want him out of here. Like, that's not even, I don't think that's something that can be salvaged. So I'm looking at him in a separate deal that you can go get a power forward or possibly a center a lot cheaper than Domantas Sabonis. I'm just trying to, the whole premise of all this is if he's your first or even second best player at that price tag.
No, I'm with you 1,000%.
That's like, I think you can piece together some stuff. I'm not going back on that. I think you can piece together some stuff and, be a better team. But realistically, like, what are you getting for DeMar DeRozan? You're not getting much of anything as far as a player equal to Levine or Sabonis.
Can you get a Trae Young for DeMar, an insert player, and 4 first-round picks?
I don't believe so.
No?
I don't believe so. And I have Trae Young. I got a Trae Young.
Trae Young for me is how you feel about LaMelo Ball is how I feel about Trae Young.
I got a Trae Young proposal in here too. Now,
see, but I would try to, I guess I'm trying to keep, if I'm able to get Trae, I'm trying to keep Domas here then. Because I can have Levine and Trae, I guess, just kind of be at the forefront, and then Domas is my third player right there. And again, this is with the idea that Scott Perry and those guys want to win now.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're not going to have Trae Young and try to move off of more talent. Like, you're going to try and keep, like, what you have and all that. Like, move off of DeMar, and maybe you dangled Tevin Carter to someone who's interested in the second-year player who didn't get much run last year or something like that. And you got the picks that James Ham said you've unlocked.
Yeah. I'm not sure you can maybe financially you can, but realistically, I don't think if you want one of these point guards, I think you've got to be looking at
LaMelo scares me too much. Giving
I
up
understand.
all those Sacramento Kings picks for a guy that's like not even on the court. Like, there's the chance, like, yeah, this could, like, there's a high chance, like, he just doesn't stay on the court because that's kind of what he's been over his career. And it's like, now you're the Sacramento Kings just stuck here with LaMelo Ball, and like, look at you, like, of course, like, how did you not know that it would end up this way?
I get it. I get it. I have a Trae Young deal. I got Trae Young for Domantas straight up player wise, but you're sending your 2027 unprotected first round pick and you're doing a pick swap in 2029 for Trae Young. I even think with that you might have to probably add another pick.
See, like, it's for me, it's just the direction of the franchise. If you're trying to rebuild, then yeah, I'm with that. That you move Domas, but if you're trying to win, then it's like I'm only moving Domas if it's for like a cat or something like that. Because I don't, because then if you trade Domas for Trae, then it's just your Trae Young and Zach LaVine. It's like that's not, like, that's still a lot to build around. It's even tougher, I feel.
But you still, and once I'm not saying that you're getting the same caliber player back, but you still got the DeMar trade.
Yeah, but I don't even know what you're getting for that. Like, that could be Norman Powell, it could be Jaime Jaquez and Duncan Robinson or whatever guys. You kind of like, Duncan's been on the bench for 4 years, it felt like, and Jaime had a bit of a downer at the end of the year. Like that, Demar's too much of an unknown for me to, I guess, move off of Domas for Trae. This team needs a rebuild. I was screaming into the heavens, they need a rebuild. They're not going that way. So if you're not, I'm moving Domas for like a cat. If not, I'm shooting as many first round picks to the Hawks and maybe send DeMar's contract somewhere else in a 3-team deal. But I don't see how you can, not you, but the Kings, like, we want to win now and just kind of catapult off of that. Like, you're trading Domas for Trae. I think that's still, it makes it a lot tougher.
I understand. I just don't know if Domantas Sabonis, and then, but see, here's the other thing, and this is what I talk about though. So you want Trae Young here with Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis showed you he's not as effective if things aren't running through him. So you're bringing in a point guard who's a ball dominant guy, and then we really don't even know how Zach LaVine reacts to all of this. Now you got Trae Young and Sabonis fighting for the basketball, and Zach LaVine just looking there crazy. He doesn't seem to react well to adversity on the basketball court at all.
This is why they need a rebuild. Like, this is exactly why they need a rebuild.
I don't know if that's the case, but if you're bringing in the point guard, I think you got to move Domas.
I don't hate the idea. It's just I need to see the vision after that. I need to see moves B, C, D, E, F, and G after that. Because it can't just be Trae and LaVine and Jonas Valanciunas. Like, what wings are you adding? Like, there's still a lot you got to add around here then. Like, there will be a defensive issue there is one either way, but it's just Trae is a lot worse than anyone else in the league. So you got to figure that out and stuff like that to where you're not bottom of the league, if anything.
That's why,
Scott Perry's point is Scott Perry's got to work then. Like, it's all Captain Obvious and stuff, but there's a lot of work to be done then if they're trying to win now still. And if you're thinking of moving Domas.
And Trae, that's why LaMelo's my first choice. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a big time gamble. But LaMelo's my first choice. He gets you the point guard. He gets you the creator. He gets you the guy that talent wise can be the face of your franchise. Maturity wise and all this other stuff, that's the risk. Injury wise, that's the risk. But you're bringing in a franchise player level talent, LaMelo Ball. And if it may cost you 3 first round picks,
there's a reward aspect to it. So it's why I'm not totally against it, but it's just the risk. It scares me too much, I feel, with LaMelo.